Hi everyone. I wanted to talk about a question somebody asked me, how embodiment can be used or can be helpful in introducing change in our relationships. The beauty of embodiment is that we stay present for everything that's happening in the moment. So we don't realize to what extent actually so many of our activities, including the way we show up in our relationships, we do on autopilot. We just do, we conserve our energy by doing things that are familiar in always the same way. So inhabiting our body means staying present for what is at all times and noticing, for example, when heat rises in our body or when we get triggered or when we're upset, can help bring change in the relationship. Because what usually happens is that if we're in a relationship, especially if we're in long-term relationships, we always get triggered by very similar things. Even if the details of trigger are different, what is actually happening inside us is the same. So we're reacting to the same trigger, the same irritant, in the same way. We usually don't express ourselves and subdue it or suppress it, or we go and we vent to other people, we blame, we resent, we complain. Nothing happens, right? Nothing changes. Or we react in the moment. Maybe we scream, maybe we fight, maybe we do something, So basically, our body becomes stressed. We're in stress cycle, which means fight, flight, fawn. And it continues because in that moment, our partner may shut down or leave, so the situation never gets resolved. The beauty of embodiment in relationship is that as we've become very conscious observers of our processes. So whenever there is a trigger, we actually have that bit of a distance as an outsider. We don't get drowned in the emotion. We're actually like a detached observer. We're realizing here's where I'm reacting again. He or she said this thing she always does that I can't stand. And here I am reacting exactly the same way as always. And in that moment, when we become conscious observers, in that moment, we can make a different choice. So instead of being on autopilot and continuing as always, rolling our eyes or saying something unpleasant or going and venting to a friend or just like muttering under our breath how we can stand it. Like how many times I've said, I'm done, And meanwhile, I wasn't done. I just continued with the same frustration. So the benefit of embodiment, the beauty of living in an embodied way, is that I notice, okay, here I am in reaction. That's not the conscious me. That's the younger part of me that is now coming online. And what I'm actually reacting to has nothing to do with the present moment. I am reacting to some unresolved wounds or trauma from the past. What can I do? I can breathe. Take a deep breath before you react. I can say something kind instead of something mean. Or I can say, I need to step out of this situation right now. I'm too triggered. Let's continue this conversation later. That alone can change the whole dynamic of the relationship, because what's happening is that we are actually disrupting the pattern. So instead of reacting in the same way where both participants just shut down or leave or just ignore each other, actually we just shut down. We don't even listen to each other anymore. When we introduce a change, when we disrupt our pattern, the other person notices. And there is an opportunity to create something else in the situation that has been stuck in a pattern. So that's the beauty of being in an embodied, relating is because you are not only acting from your mind, you're actually observing what's happening in your body so you can notice. Because once again, the person that we're relating to can behave or say things that they do or say, but we're experiencing them in their own body. So what we're trying to change is not the other person over whom we have no control, ultimately, right? They can play along if they feel like it, but if they don't want to play along, they won't. So the only thing we can change is our experience of this person within our body, within our mind. That's what makes the whole difference. When you realize, oh, okay, here I am, that's that triggering again. This is, my body is going to a stress cycle. When you realize, my nervous system is in stress cycle, then you know, okay, what can I do to relax it? 3 deep belly breaths, for example. Or stepping away from the situation, but communicating, I need to step away, right? You don't just leave huffing and puffing and shut the door. You say, I need to remove myself for a little while so I can compose myself. You go, you breathe, you go for a little walk, you regulate your own nervous system so that you can come back to this relationship fully in control of your own capacities. And then another type of conversation can take place. I hope this was helpful. Let me know how this lands, but these are the little, the big benefits of living embodied, being an observer, being a consciously aware person who understands that the experience of our life, the center of our experience is within us, in our body, in our mind, and fully in our control. It's nobody's fault. Nobody's making us feel anything. We're fully in control of our capacities, especially when we're grown-ups. All right, everyone. Hope this helps.